Alex talks to Rhea about the magical tools he discovered deep in the underground ruins during one of his last adventures. He started to tell that these tools were found in the mines where a mysterious and deadly disease broke out. The guild girls listened to him with undisguised interest and scrutinized the artifacts. Alex pointed to one of them and explained that this artifact was called a magic eye, and the other one, a blue magic eye. He explained that their power was comparable to various levels of monsters starting from D and E ranks, and they could pose a serious threat. Alex, pointing at the giant metal wolf that was nearby, noted that the artifact was comparable in power to the B rank monsters. He was impressed by the technological sophistication of this find, and wondered how such powerful things could have fallen into the hands of humans. This led him to think about the mysterious origin of these devices. When one of the girls, amazed by his story, asked if Alex had defeated this huge creature, he modestly replied that yes, and her eyes widened in amazement, because the serpent seemed so strong and dangerous that she could not believe that Alex could defeat it alone. This only increased her respect for him. At some point, they came across a strange structure that stood in front of them. One of the girls asked in surprise what it was. Alex shrugged his shoulders in embarrassment, admitting that he did not know what it was. Even his experience as an adventurer did not help him to solve the mystery of this strange structure. Alex suggested that this mysterious object could be the main reason for the spread of the disease in the mines. Now that all the magical tools were neutralized, the disease should start to recede, and the miners would soon be able to return to their work. This discovery could change everything in their world. The girls, impressed by Alex's actions, expressed their deep gratitude to him. He had managed to cope with a problem that was impossible for other adventurers. Moreover, they were surprised to note that even little Rhea had contributed to the victory, which made their team even more unique and admirable. When one of the girls talked about the ancient artifact, she confessed that she had never seen anything like it before. She shared that even in the ruins of Foderin, where she had studied many finds, there was nothing that could compare to this artifact. This discovery made her wonder about the possibilities of using it. Alex hesitated and offered to try and identify this strange artifact using his skill. He hoped that his ability to analyze could shed some light on this mystery and help them better understand the nature of the device. Perhaps this would be a clue as to their future path. On examining the artifact in detail, Alex was surprised to realize that in front of him was a mechanical snake. Judging by the inscriptions, it was a prototype of the destructive device known by the code name Snake Number 1. He realized that this device had gone out of control and was probably the reason why the ruins had been abandoned. The protagonist stood in front of the giant artifact, contemplating whether to tell the girls that this device was connected to him. If they found out about it, there could be trouble, he thought to himself, trying to hide his thoughts and focus on the real problem. Remembering the events of the recent battle, Alex told how the snake used its powerful tail to defeat the magical wolves. Despite the impressiveness of this story, his face remained calm, as if it was a common thing for him. The girls listened to him with growing admiration. One of the girls, amazed by his words, asked if he had really defeated 30 metal wolves. Alex nodded, but clarified that the snake had destroyed even more enemies than him. This only increased her admiration for his abilities, and she began to realize how strong an adventurer he really was. The girl, still under the impression, said that if you could fight such a huge pack, then his abilities should be at A-rank level. Alex smiled modestly, realizing that his skills really exceeded expectations, but he did not want to brag and preferred to remain reserved in his assessments. As the conversation continued, Alex began to realize that his skills and reputation might soon lead to his official recognition as a B-rank adventurer. He reflected on the fact that achieving A rank would require more effort on his part, as well as leadership skills that he was not yet sure he was ready to develop. Walking through the ruined streets of the guild, Alex looked thoughtfully at the ruins around him and realized with a slight surprise that he had really done something incredible. He could not believe that all these events were the result of his actions, and he began to realize that his intervention had changed the fate of many people. The next day, Alex met Gainter and with a smile told him the happy news. The problem with the disease in the mines had been solved. Rhea, who was standing next to him, added that the disease would completely disappear within 3 days, which only increased Gainter's surprise and his respect for Alex. Gainter, stunned by the results, could not hide his admiration and asked if he had completed the investigation and solved the problem. Alex nodded modestly, seeing that his efforts had indeed made a huge impression on everyone around him. He felt proud, but remained modest in his actions. They started discussing business. After the report, the discussion quickly moved on to more complex topics related to magical technologies and their potential use in the kingdom. Alex noticed that this conversation was extremely important for the further development of the kingdom, especially in terms of preventing information leaks that could lead to serious consequences. Despite everything that had happened, Alex began to realize that the situation was becoming too big and too large for him. Whether it was too big a responsibility for one adventurer, he thought with a slight anxiety, realizing that his path was becoming more and more dangerous and unpredictable. Alex, realizing that despite all his achievements, he was still an adventurer, decided not to give up his adventures. Despite the need to participate in negotiations with the kingdom, he gave his share of the profits to the Miners' Association, leaving all further responsibilities on their shoulders. This allowed him to continue traveling and not to burden himself with managerial affairs. A week passed, and the negotiations with the Miners' Association were successfully completed. Alex received good news that his efforts had helped to stabilize the situation in the region, which meant that the miners' lives were gradually returning to normal, and the magical artifacts were no longer a threat to those around them. Alex notified the guild of his decision to officially take Rhea under his protection. The guild issued Rhea a guild card, confirming her status under his protection. In gratitude for his achievements and solved problems, Alex was rewarded and became the youngest adventurer who could achieve such high results in a short period of time. One day, Alex noticed that Rhea's hair ornament was behaving strangely. He decided to ask her about it, as he had never noticed it changing color so quickly before. He thought there might be something magical about it, and this sparked his interest in the nature of the ornament. Alex asked Rhea when the jewel had started to change color. He remembered that it had been black when they had left the ruins, and now it was bright. This surprised him, and he wondered if it was due to some magical process that had taken place over the last few days. Rhea replied with a cheerful mood that it usually takes about 30 years for a piece of jewelry to fully recharge with magical energy. But this time, the process took only 2 days, which made her surprised. Alex joked with a smile that it was probably his magical energy that sped up the recharging process so much, and they both laughed and met Sabrina. Alex offered Rhea to have Sabrina's armor made for her, so that she would be more protected during their travels. But Rhea refused, thinking that the armor would be too heavy and uncomfortable for her. Alex thanked the craftsmen for their help in creating metal elements without magic power, but decided that he would rather find something lighter and more comfortable for Rhea. Later, Sabrina asked them if they planned to go to another town or stay here. Alex, after a little thinking, answered that they would probably just follow the road wherever it took them. He didn't like to make long-term plans and preferred to stay free in his adventures. There was silence when the trio stopped at the fork of the road. Alex was obviously thinking about the upcoming events and opportunities that awaited them ahead. In his head, new plans and ideas were born, how they could move forward in their quest for adventure. Suddenly, they heard a rumbling sound coming from far away. Alex was alerted by a strange movement on the horizon, and his adventurous instincts made him ready for action. He immediately concentrated, expecting that there might be danger ahead. Alex suddenly noticed something strange in their surroundings. He stopped and said that he felt something disappear. Our heroes, not understanding what he was talking about, looked at him in surprise and started asking questions. But even Alex could not explain exactly what had happened. Alex felt the disappearance of powerful magic at a distance of about 100 kilometers. He was shocked that he was able to feel such a strong, magical energy. As he had never been able to feel magic at such a great distance before, this discovery surprised and alarmed him greatly. He reflected that the power of this magic surpassed everything they had encountered so far. Even the artifact they had found earlier could not match the power of this energy. Alex was sure that there was no one in this world who could create magic of this level, which only increased his anxiety. In the distance, behind the mountains, something mysterious was happening. It was obvious that Alex was waiting for an important event that could change their future path. He felt that this was not an ordinary phenomenon, and they should be ready for the unexpected. They started to discuss this phenomenon, and Alex asked his Sabrina about the place where the magic could have disappeared. She explained that it was a dangerous area, known for its labyrinths inhabited by B-rank monsters. This place was known to many adventurers as a deadly place. Despite the warnings, Alex was determined that they would head for the zone. He saw it as a possible adventure and was sure it would be an exciting challenge for all of them. Rhea, infected by his enthusiasm, happily supported his decision. Sabrina smiled and confessed that she had expected this reaction from Alex. She had known him for a long time as a true adventurer who was not afraid of risk and always eager for new challenges. Not forgetting that he had saved her from bandits just like Rhea, her confidence in him had only grown stronger after this decision. They said goodbye to the people of the guild who had helped them throughout their adventures. Everyone was happy and waved goodbye. The locals thanked Alex and Rhea for bringing peace and tranquility to their guild and hoped that the adventurers would return again. 3 hours had passed since Alex and Rhea left the village, and they continued to move forward with determination. Their path was full of dangers, but Alex was determined and his companions followed him, confident in his leadership. Suddenly, Rhea, as if under the influence of something unknown, stopped abruptly and turned around. This caused confusion for Alex, who could not understand what was happening. He began to ask questions, trying to find out what had attracted her attention. Our heroes are exploring the mysterious forest, and Alex notices strange and strong, magical forces emanating from the surrounding area. Their attention is attracted by the presence of several magical auras scattered everywhere, as if someone or something has influenced this region. The protagonist enthusiastically offers to explore each area to understand where these powers are coming from. His companion Rhea cheerfully agrees as always, ready to follow him on this dangerous adventure full of mystery and magic. Alex and Rhea encounter danger and huge crab-like monsters appear in the forest, clearly hostile, their aggression emphasized by intense sounds and movements, creating tension and readiness to fight. The heroes engage the crabs. Rhea, showing her agility, makes a powerful magical strike, while her companion supports her actions with his shield and magic, both focused on defeating the new enemies. In response to the hero's attack, the crabs do not try to counterattack at all. The powerful blow causes many trees to break and the wolves to scatter in different directions. But the heroes, protected by magic, continue the fight. Alex is thinking about the new enemies, huge crabs that look even more dangerous than the wolves. Rhea uses magical attacks to defeat these creatures, creating explosions of fireballs that cause significant damage. A huge crab fights to the last, but gets caught in a fiery explosion organized by the heroes. A cloud of fire and smoke symbolizes the devastating end of the battle. The fried crab? It must be delicious, thought Alex. Our heroes are again in the spotlight. They are always ready for a new attack, confidently and energetically moving forward, supported by each other, both focused on the next wave of monsters. Alex jokingly says that if it is a crab, it is not a fact that in this world it is edible. Alex suggested that Rhea use her magical powers to cook the crabs they got on their last adventure. Rhea happily agreed and immediately started using her powers to start a magical fire. Alex was looking forward to a delicious dinner. Rhea and Alex notice that the battle is not over yet, and there are still many monsters around. They feel that the adventure is just beginning, and they continue to fight, being in constant motion. The protagonist panics and offers to run away even though the monsters look weak. Rhea is very surprised by this decision, as he has just said that they seem insignificant. However, the protagonist admits that these monsters are so unimpressive that he has lost the will to fight. They start running. Finally, they safely reach a safe place. Alex sighs with relief, and his companion sighs tiredly, obviously unhappy after all their adventures. They come to the city, which the hero calls Ortion. His companion pays attention to the fact that the travelers with a child are looked at with curiosity, because it is quite a rare phenomenon, but no one knew how old Rhea is. One of the guards draws attention to the travelers and asks if they have encountered monsters on the way, because recently they have become a lot nauch. The protagonist reassures him, saying that these monsters were weak. Our hero reflects that Although the monsters were classified as D-rank monsters, they didn't seem as weak as the guard claimed. In response, the guard evaluates his weapon and notices that it doesn't look ordinary. The hero guesses that his magical sword staff may have been noticed by more than just blacksmiths and adventurers. The Guardian in turn explains that they can handle most monsters, except for one type that causes problems. The Guardian explains that the recent changes are due to monsters starting to flee from one of the forests. This unusual behavior has caused concern, and the monsters are trying to hide in other forests. The protagonist suddenly remembers that all the monsters they encountered were moving in the same direction. This makes him think that they are clearly attracted to one point. Alex wonders what is beckoning them. Despite his misgivings, the Guardian reassures Alex that the situation is not that serious, as the high-level party was not sent to deal with these monsters. He adds that the guild knows the reason, but does not reveal all the details. Alex suspects that the situation may be more serious than it seems, he recalls past events when guilds withheld important information, and begins to wonder if this problem will be as big as the ones he has already encountered. The heroes enter a new guild, and their every move echoes through the streets. The city immediately gives the impression of an unusual place, hiding its secrets behind stone walls. Rhea is frightened. There has been a small earthquake, clinging to Alex as if it were the only defense against the chaos around her. Her eyes are wide with fear, but he, trying to keep calm, explains that here, near volcanoes, such tremors are not uncommon, he says with confidence, as if he wants to convince not only her, but himself as well. The guide of the town, who meets them at the gate, mentions with apparent calmness that such earthquakes have become more frequent lately, but he tries to assure them that it is not a cause for concern. Nevertheless, the hero feels something wrong. The air is saturated with a strange smell of sulfur. Whether something more dangerous than it seems at first glance lies behind it. The guide adds with a smile that earthquakes are just part of the charm of their city, as if it were something normal and even pleasant for the locals. He welcomes the heroes with his arms outstretched in a welcoming gesture, as if they were long-awaited guests. "Welcome to Ortheon," he says, as if inviting them to forget their worries and enjoy the atmosphere of the city. The sudden mention of hot springs arouses the hero's genuine surprise. His face lights up with curiosity and his mind flashes with thoughts of how pleasant it would be to relax after a long journey in warm waters. "What hot springs?" he repeats with sincere admiration, not expecting such a gift of fate in this place. Alex and Rhea look around. They have a magnificent view of the city. The smoke from the hot springs rises into the air, enveloping the buildings in a mysterious haze. Combined with the ancient architecture of the city, it creates an incredibly picturesque picture. The heroes are amazed at how organically combined the natural beauty and man-made structures. However, the heroic joy is replaced by disappointment when they find out the cost of staying in this luxurious place. The price per night is 10 times higher than in other cities where they stayed. Alex cannot hide his amazement and feels that his dreams of relaxing in the hot springs begin to melt away. Despite his initial indignation at the price, the hero can't help but admire their new accommodation. 3 spacious rooms, stylish interior, and even a kitchen, all of which show that the price is justified. He walks around the spacious room, looking at every corner, and gradually agrees that such comforts can't come cheap. Alex offers Rhea to use magic to cook the crabs they bought earlier at the market. "Why not cook them now?" he suggests, hoping for her help. Rhea gladly agrees, seeing it as an opportunity to show her skills, and already anticipates how they will enjoy a delicious dinner. Crabs are sizzling and boiling in a huge cauldron on the fire. Alex smilingly observes how Rhea masterfully handles magic, creating an illusion of coziness and warmth in this room. The loud noise of boiling water and splashes of tiny drops can't hide the light atmosphere of fun and homeliness that envelops this moment. During the cooking, Rhea started to hover slowly over the cauldron, using her magical abilities. She seemed to be used to this state, but Alex noticed it and smilingly asked her to move away from the cauldron in case something went wrong. Rhea laughed but followed his request. When the crabs were finally ready, Alex and Rhea happily sat down at the table. There was a huge claw on the table, and both of them clapped their hands with impatience and exclaimed, "Let's eat!" Alex felt calm for the first time in a long time and was happy to share this moment with Rhea. Alex looked admiringly at the claw he was holding in his hands. It was huge and very fleshy, taking a big bite. He felt the delicate taste of the crab and couldn't help exclaiming, it was one of the best dishes he had tasted recently. Rhea, seeing Alex enjoying it, decided to follow his example. She took her piece and took a big bite, smiling happily. She noticed that the crab tasted no different from the usual crab, but it was incredibly tasty. This dinner was a real pleasure for them. They continued to enjoy the meal, not stopping to praise the taste of the crab. Alex, laughing, reminded Rhea not to overeat, because they had more dinner ahead of them. Rhea laughed in response, but decided to hold back a little, so as not to spoil her appetite before the evening meal. After a hearty dinner, Rhea started to peck her nose, obviously tired after a full day and a delicious meal, and her eyes started to close. Alex smiled and suggested that she should go to sleep, realizing that she was very tired after all that she had been through. Alex watched Rhea as she fell asleep. She looked like a normal child at that moment, which touched him to the core. He thought about how fragile she could be, despite her magical abilities, and how important it was for him to protect her during their travels. While Rhea slept sweetly, Alex began to ponder the mystery of the disappearing magic he had sensed in the other guild. He realized that it could be the key to something bigger. He thought about taking it into his own hands, but he could use some rest. Alex was surprised to find that every room in the hotel had its own outdoor bath. He decided to take this opportunity to relax in the hot spring while Rhea slept. It was the perfect moment to relax after a busy day. Full of determination, Alex decided that he would fully enjoy the hot springs. It was a chance for him not only to relax, but also to regain his strength for the upcoming challenges. He knew that new dangers were ahead of them, and he was ready to face them head-on.